Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Gentlemen, it's up to 1.7 Billy, so you may not see me next week, but you may. Welcome. This is Run It Back. Why is it snowing on our heads?
Yeah, because we're festive.
And I'm blurry. I don't know what's going on.
Why are we festive? We got Chandler. We got Lou. Hi, Michelle.
The hot start.
Festive. A hot start to the show.
Lou is blurry. Beadle was muted. We got snow everywhere.
I'm great. Muted?
You certainly were to start the show.
Well, probably some people preferred that. But, oh, well, I'm not muted now. So we're going to start this bad boy with some fun from last night. Man, Draymond has these phases in life, right? So we got Warriors. We got the Magic. It's a big win for Golden State. 120-97. Steph with 26. Jimmy Butler with 21. Paolo Banchero finishes with 21, 12, and 7. But that's all fine and good. It's the Draymond situation. There's a moment on the sidelines between he and Steve Kerr, who, by the way, is a coach who's had his back time and time again. But it's a very heated exchange, if you will, which leads to Draymond heading over to the locker room, takes a little cool-off period, does come back to the bench, but he does not re-enter the game after that 8.5 mark in the third quarter. Lou, look, it's these two guys, so I almost don't feel shocked, weirdly, but what did you make of this exchange last night?
Yeah, I listen, I don't love it, but you always have to reference people's relationships and what you've seen them go through and what you've seen them accomplish. And that's no different with Steve Kerr and Draymond. We've seen these guys win championships together. We've also seen them argue time and time again before. We know what Draymond is, and we know how fiery of a competitor that he is. We know that Steve Kerr would get with you in your competitive nature as well. These guys are championship related to each other in the things that they've been able to accomplish over the years. If this was a new coach and a new player, I would have some concerns. I would have something to say. But you're talking about a guy that's been with this coach, the majority of his career outside of Mark Jackson. This has been his head coach, and you've seen some dust ups from the practice court to the games to everywhere when it comes to Draymond Green. We know what his personality brings to the table. So I don't read much into this, even though he didn't go back into this basketball game. I don't read too far into it. This might be a one-time, one-night thing, and I'm sure these guys will have a conversation this morning, or they even had that conversation last night. They probably had a meeting or a conversation collectively as a team and probably gotten over this. But, sometimes when you're messing up assignments, and I'm not saying that's what Draymond's issue was, or if you're not on the same page with a coach, you can kind of see these things. And if you see that camera angle, you see that this came from a fan or somebody that was recording the bench during that basketball game. So this was something that wasn't supposed to necessarily get the attention that it got, but it did. But I don't read too much into this, no more than it's just being a dust up with a player and a coach, and we move on.
Yeah, I think if this was anybody else other than Draymond Green, this is probably national news, right? And it's still picking up and it's still getting a lot of attention, but this is just something that has happened often. This is two guys that respect each other, that have won at the highest level with each other. And it's two passionate guys that, again, like Lou just said, this isn't, I don't think this is an issue. This is just in the heat of the moment, which happens all the time. And this never would have even surfaced if the fan wasn't videoing. But I don't think there's anything here, obviously, with the history of Draymond Green, and we don't want anything to be, that detrimental to the team. But I think it was a sign of maturity that he actually just stormed off and left, and then he came back, and Kerr was like, cool, you're back. You're still not going back in the game. And I guarantee you they've already hashed it out and had a conversation and will move forward. And a season like this, when they're just got back to 500, there's probably some frustration. There's probably some, some tough times, but this really, to me, isn't anything. This is a guy that's deserved the right to kind of speak his mind, and this is a coach that's also always had his back and respected and appreciate this type of passion and fire. So you can't kind of mix up on it now and have an issue with it.
I mean, look, Draymond did say, I didn't think it was going to get better. I'm a big proponent of just leave the situation and let things cool off. So I kind of understand why he's doing that. That being said, let's talk a little X's and O's about it all, because he is leading the league, or going into last night's game anyways, he was leading the league in turnover percentage. Draymond was. And then they go on that monster run when he's out of the game, a 41-18 run, as a matter of fact. And if we want to just take it from a basketball perspective, Chandler, can you even fathom? And when I say all this, I also say it because I don't know that there's another coach in the league that would have Draymond Green's back the way Steve Kerr has. Like, these two are just sort of together, right?
Yeah,
but is there a world in which you could picture him not being a Warrior?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. And they've been to the trenches together again. So he's got that longer leash. He's got that more respect. He's got that clout within that organization and within that locker room, where Draymond Green can be Draymond Green, and he can be authentically 100% himself. And as far as the basketball stuff goes, a lot of the stuff he does, I hated when people would say this about certain players. It doesn't show up in the box score, right? And that's so true when it comes to a Draymond Green, whether it's his communication or how vocal he is on defense, which, by the way, is the 3rd defensive rating in the NBA, or whether it's him just active and getting his deflections and steals, which, by the way, their team is 4th in steals. And then the way he kind of plays within that offense and dribble handoffs and finds the backdoor cutters, and they're 8th in assists. So I feel like all 3 things that Draymond Green does really, really well and does elite has kept this team, this 500 team, in the top 5 and in top 10 statistically, and it's pretty much all his strength. So he's not going to average 25 points a game. He's not a guy that you're going to actually, look to score, although he's capable. But he does all these little things. He pushes guys. He challenges guys. He's a leader, and he does all that other stuff that Steve Kerr, like I said, has backed his entire career. So it's weird to shine a light on it now that it would be a negative thing or that he wouldn't have his back. I just think this was an emotional game, an emotional play. 2 fiery guys kind of went at it, and I guarantee you they shook hands, laughed about it, and they'll move on next game.
I mean, you say it's emotional, but a game ago with Colin Gillespie, he had that moment. He's just, I don't know. There's a lot that comes with him, which makes me sometimes think, and I know people in the chat right now are like, oh, we'd love to see him get traded.
All right. Beadle.
I know. But is there a market? Like, if you're another team, would you love to bring Draymond Green on board? Like, what do you think that market even looks like?
Listen, I'm sure there are some coaches out there that loves some fiery, competitive nature that would love a guy like this to add to their locker room. But I think Draymond Green deserves to retire a Golden State Warrior. And trust me, I know in this business, everybody doesn't get what they deserve. Sometimes things happen and you get the short end of the stick. You can see the decorated career that Chris Paul has had. It's not going to go down the way that he probably would have deserved for it to happen. It just doesn't happen that way. But you look at Klay Thompson. Klay is in Dallas now. You still have Dre and you still have Steph in Golden State uniforms. I would love to see those guys finish their careers there. And I think they deserve that much respect, and they deserve to go out on a team that they've accomplished so much on. But when you have some of these situations and you look around the league, I'm sure there's some coaches that got some young locker rooms. They might even consider their locker room soft or might not be as tough as they would like their team to be. And they would die to get a guy like Draymond Green there, and they would take everything that comes with that. So again, we know what his personality is, but we also knows the intangibles and the small things that he brings to the table that get you over the hump, that can get you over the edge of being a team that needs toughness and that needs somebody that knows how to run an offense and that knows how to anchor you on the defensive end as well. So sometimes when a guy has so much value on the basketball court, some of the antics or some of the things that may come out in the public that may not have the greatest of optics, you'll take that chance on a guy like Draymond Green.
But and also on the flip side, the grass isn't always greener either. Like Draymond Green is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer playing in that system, playing with Steph Curry, winning those championships, and it was a perfect fit. There are so many guys like I always bring up Marshawn Brooks. This guy was one of the coldest, best scorers, best practice players, best one-on-one players I had ever seen during my career. And he didn't stick. He didn't last. He never found that system. He never found that coach that believed him. He never found that kind of that team situation where they won and he was a pivotal part. And he stuck, and he never stuck, and he ended up overseas in Europe and China. And Draymond Green is a great player. Draymond Green is a versatile player. He's one of the best defenders of all time. And that a lot of that has to do with the fit of the Golden State Warriors and what he brought to that team and what they brought to him. So when you start talking about him trading and going somewhere, or getting traded and going somewhere else, I don't ever see that happening. I mean, look how it panned out even with Clay, who is the second best shooter of all time, and he's still at this point, at this age of his career, he's struggling a bit in Dallas. He's not on a winning team, and you're not, talking about him more now in a negative light. And I don't want to see that happen to Draymond Green.
We also know Clay's going to end up back in Golden State. Like, that's inevitable.
I feel like that would make sense.
It's totally happening. So the win last night for the Warriors put them back at 500, 5-5 in their last 10, and they're in the 8th seed at the moment. Chandler, and I know Steve Kerr brought up the fact that, yeah, that's all fine and good, but the goal coming in was top 4, and that remains the goal. So, I know it's only December. Are we looking at a possibility here? Are they going to be able to pull that off?
I don't see it. I don't think so. I think the West is too good. I think those teams are at the top. When you look at OKC, San Antonio, Denver, Houston, Minnesota, LA, those are all teams that I think are better basketball teams right now than the Warriors. Now, listen, they got real hot last year. They can turn it on. Anytime Steph Curry is on that court, they can win basketball games and they can get going. And when they're fully healthy, this team is so good defensively. And obviously with that offensive system, they can explode on any given night. So I'm not counting them out. I'm counting them out as a top 4 seed, but as a 7, 6, 7, 8 seed, giving one of those, 1 or 2 or 3 seeds a run for their money in the first round of the playoffs, I can definitely see that. This is the type of team where you don't want to face. You don't want, imagine having to beat Steph Curry 4 times in the playoffs. It's uneasy, it's unsettling, and it's not the matchup you want. And they can be a team that come playoff time surprises one of these and gets a big upset.
Unless you're OKC or you're Denver or San Antonio, one of those teams, you don't really fear Golden State like you once did. I don't think they get into like you once did. I don't think you really fear them, Beadle. So
no, I'm shocked you said San Antonio doesn't fear them. I'm like, whoa, okay.
Well, I'm throwing them in there because those are the teams that I think are trending up. Those are the teams that I think get better as the season go on, opposed to getting worse. You look at from 5 to 8, like Minnesota is going to be in that conversation. Houston is going to be in that conversation. Phoenix is right there with them as well. I think they're in a pack with those group of teams. Everybody else, I feel like, are elite. From 1, 2, and 3. I think those are the teams that get better throughout the season, opposed to going the opposite way. And they look at a Golden State in the first round and they probably feel really comfortable about what they can do. Now, I'm not trying to shortchange what Draymond brings to the table and what Steph and Jimmy can bring to the table, but the writing is on the wall. They're a 500 basketball team as it stands, and until they really turn that corner and show us different at this age, at this stage in their career, that's probably going to be the team that they are. But if there's a team that's going to make a run for it like they did last year, they have all of the pieces and the capabilities, but I just don't see it at this point.
It would
put
be
them in
unsettling.
The Eastern Conference. Put them in the Eastern Conference, maybe.
Get rid of conferences. No, it ain't happening. Steph was on a bit of a bad ankle last night. Didn't stop him from going 6-6 from the field in the 3rd. And I know he's in his 17th season, but obviously LeBron set the standard now for what the NBA superstar is capable of doing as far as longevity goes. Whether he wants to or whether he can, Lou, I know are 2 different questions. But could Steph Curry play as long, if not longer, than LeBron James, given the fact that he shoots the way he does?
I believe so. I would love to see Steph Curry as a 40-year-old 3rd or 4th option on a team, just being a standstill shooter, being a catch and shoot guy for a team and making them dangerous from the 3-point line. Only one thing that I will say is this usually doesn't pan out for smaller guards in the league. This usually works for taller guys that can put pressure on smaller defenders at the 3-point line, or if you got Steph Curry at 40 years old being a standstill shooter, you can kind of face guard him a little bit, and that may not be as effective. So this hasn't worked for smaller guards, but if there's anybody that can break that mold, that can put small guards in this conversation and plan into their 40s and as long as they want to in 20 seasons or whatnot, it's going to be Steph Curry. I think he's one of those guys. I think you see him evolve dramatically if he wanted to continue to play that deep into his career and that deep into his age. We would see a lot of evolving in his game. But if there's one guy that can do it, I think that's Steph Curry for sure.
If a team just went and signed Phillip Rivers at 44 years old to play quarterback in the NFL, this man can play till he's 50. I don't care how small he is, the way he shoots the ball. Obviously, this is health driven. Those ankles got to stay healthy, and he's missed 9 games this year. He's played 21 out of 30. But we're talking about a shooter's league, and we're talking about the best shooter of all time. He'll always be able to shoot over 40%. He'll always be able to knock down wide open threes. He's never, think about it, his whole career, he's never got wide open threes. Imagine when he's 44 years old, not the focal point of a scouting report, and can just sit there and bang threes off, traps and double teams.
44 is a stretch, though.
I mean,
at 44 already.
Put him at 44 years old on the floor with a good team, and they're not, again, he's not the focal point of the scouting report. Why did you make him 44 though? Like, that's what I'm stuck on.
Because of Phillip Rivers. Like, I feel like Phillip Rivers changed everything.
Kudos to Phillip Rivers, but he ain't absolutely killing it. Now, he is being competitive, and he's had some opportunities, but he's not absolutely killing it.
Okay, let me ask you this. Lou, I know we're a basketball show, but I'm sorry. The world should be talking about Phillip Rivers because this is an insane Disney movie. Are you shocked? Like, when he looks up at the suite, he's got a whole suite that are like full of his kids, and like, it's insanity.
It looks like it looks like a football team, but it's his kids. No,
they're all his.
Super proud. I'm just hung up on the fact that Chandler keeps making Steph Curry 44. That's
44. That's it.
Not to get completely sidetracked here too, but was there not one other better or younger quarterback option than Phillip Rivers?
I mean, I have like 4 I can name right now, but
we'll be a different show.
I just don't get that. But my point is,
you get it.
Steph Curry can shoot the basketball, and he's not getting guarded like he's not today or the last 16 seasons as the number 1 or number 2 option on a team. He will make those shots. He'll get way more uncontested shots, and he's going to shoot 50% from 3. I think he plays longer than LeBron. Book it.
I don't know that he wants to. I feel like for LeBron, this was like a goal.
He'll probably be like a pro golfer, or probably do some golf. Like, he's got so much stuff and so much business going on. Maybe he doesn't want to, but if he wants to, he can.
Wants to. And that's all that matters. You got options. Little bit off the court last night with the Warriors. They put out a post, an IG post, the team did, telling fans, hey, go vote for Jimmy Butler for the All-Star game. He responds by telling fans, please do not vote for me. Instead, let's create a GoFundMe so that I can go to Barbados. Lou, how do we feel about Jimmy? Once again, just doing Jimmy Butler things.
Listen, I think All-Star Weekend is getting into a sticky area where you're starting to see the veteran guys, your legacy acts. They're not as excited to compete and be a part of All-Star Weekend, And Jimmy probably, if he puts up a GoFundMe, he wants to go somewhere else. That's a telltale sign. Now, I wish Jimmy would have did that the year that he got that last spot, and I was out of the All-Star game. I wish he would have. I wish he would have said that then on the year that I was on the fringe of making my first All-Star game. But no, this is where we are with All-Star Weekend. These guys don't see the value in competing in it and being a part of it. And I don't know what Jimmy is dealing with personally, or whether he has some knick-knack injuries or he could just use a nice week-long break. I don't know. But him going directly against the team and be like, no, I'm not interested. That's a red flag. And you should start paying attention around the league if you start seeing other legacy act and other veteran guys that have been perennial all-stars kind of making this stance as well. This is something to pay attention to.
And I mean, let's call a spade a spade. This is Jimmy being Jimmy, but he has no chance to make the All-Star game. So it's almost him.
Also that.
It's just him inserting a joke. It's him making a joke, self-deprecating, like, guys, enough. But how crazy the world is. If he happens to start a GoFundMe, I guarantee you people will donate money. That's how stupid
swear to God,
people are in this world. But
we lost our damn minds.
Lou's got a point, though. All-Star Weekend has kind of become a drag. You see LeBron said, I'd rather be on the couch. Jimmy Butler saying this. Like, obviously, those are vet guys that have been there multiple times and don't care as much now. But
it's also in a good city this time. Like, they don't have that excuse of like it's a place no one wants to go.
You know what else though, y'all? Oblige them. We keep talking about we want young guys and who's gonna get this legacy acts gonna take these spots. If they don't want in, oblige them. Keep them
Agree.
off the ballots. Don't vote for them. Allow some young, excited guys that want to be a part of it. Allow them to have their first shots at it. You think Austin Reeves don't want to be a part of this? Like you think some of these other young guys, some of these new guys don't want to be a part of All-Star Weekend, that don't know any better, that wants to have that experience and want to have All-Star on their patch? Give it to them. If these guys don't want to be a part of it and they've done this thing 100 times already, allow some of these new young guys to do it. This is the year that we don't make the excuse that, oh, well, these are legacy acts. If these guys don't want to be a part of it, allow the new young guys to do it. Simple and plain.
Yes, I would love that. Get out of here. Get out of here if you don't want it. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, the Pelicans are the hottest team right now. Yeah, that's right. The Pelicans. We'll discuss
Right,
next.
let's do it.
Run it back, yeah. Run it up, run it back.
Well, we love a good losing streak snap. We got one. Cavs snap their 3-game skid behind Mitchell and Garland, 139-132, beating the Hornets. Mitchell finished with 30. Garland with 27 and 10. DeAndre Hunter had 27. LaMelo Ball, 23 points, 9 assists. The big news, obviously, is the fact that I mentioned Darius Garland because he had missed the 16 games prior with the toe injury and then has to figure out his form and all that coming back. But 25-plus points in 3 of his last 4, that ain't bad. I don't know, Chandler. A part of all of this and him being absent is now the trade stuff happens again, right? I feel like we do this every year. But is this just a matter of let's get healthy, let's get this thing going? We know it can be a lot better than it has been, or is it something else?
First of all, shout out Rocket Rose, my 4-year-old daughter, who's awake right now watching the show. So I want to say hi to her. She's in the other room.
Shout out!
And Chrome. But yes, listen,
And
this
Chrome.
is a team we had high expectations for. And this is a team that when they're healthy, even when we go back to the JB Bickerstaff days, this team was so good offensively, defensively, right? And they're a team that you speak volumes about continuity and keeping the same guys together and developing that chemistry. They have this. So I think that is why this 16-14 record after a historic start last year, when a lot of guys have been healthy. Obviously, Garland's been banged up. Max Strus has not played much. Like a lot of guys have missed some time, but for the most part, when this team is whole, they are very good. So I do think when they get fully back on the floor together, you start seeing Darius Garland kind of getting his legs under him. Like there was always the reports last year, him and Donovan Mitchell, 2 years ago, him and Donovan Mitchell weren't really getting along. They didn't like playing each other. Now they didn't say anything last year, and they were best friends. Now this year they're losing again. You start hearing those rumors again, like Darius Garland to Sacramento. It's all about winning. It's that heals everything. So when this team is healthy on the floor, I still think they're a real threat in the Eastern Conference. They've just got off to a brutal start, to be honest with you. And a lot of that has to do with Darius Garland missing time. He is an all-star level point guard. He relieves so much pressure from Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is so much easier to guard and double team and scout when Darius Garland's not on the floor. So I think they need each other. I think this team needs each other, and they need everybody. They need Evan Mobley. They need Jared Allen. They need because they're one of those teams that can go 9, 10, 11 deep. So I think I'm not panicking quite yet, which is crazy. I don't know why I'm so stuck up on this team. I just think I saw enough last year for them to be a real threat. I really did.
You aren't panicking at all. Lou,
I'm not.
I'm glad.
I should be, I feel like, but I'm not.
But I think that's the only thing, Chandler. Like you just said, health is their only issue. Other than that, they check all of the boxes. You got elite guard play, you got elite rim protection, you got a big that can score the basketball, you got shooting, you got everything. But you can't have everybody in uniform at the same time. That's been the biggest issue that the Cleveland Cavaliers have seen. They've yet to have a game where they don't have at least 4 out of 5 of their starters in the lineup. They've had every game. It's been at least 2 starters out of a game this entire season. It's hard to build some camaraderie and a rhythm with a team that you don't know who's going to be in and out of the lineup, so you get some positive action out of Garland in the last 3 or 4 games that he's had, but how consistent can that be when guys are in and out of the lineup? Other than that, Cleveland check all of the boxes. So I agree with Chandler. I don't panic yet. If they can get healthy and they can get everybody on one accord, I think they're still one of the more dangerous teams in the East.
I do think it's funny, and you said it, Chandler, is that when they're winning, everyone was really quiet last season. We weren't doing the Tatum Brown, Garland Mitchell situation, trying to pit everybody against each other. And now that they're losing, it sort of rears its head again. So much so that Grant Asfith of the Dallas Hoops Journal said that there is a perception. Now, I do find that interesting that it's not reports or not, it's a perception that Darius Garland would much prefer to run his own team rather than sort of play second fiddle to Donovan Mitchell. I don't know, Lou. I mean, we keep doing this. At some point, is it inevitable? Are we splitting these two up?
No, that's fair. Like you can have that perception, or you can have that want if you're Darius Garland. I think that's fair for any guard that plays at the level that he plays. Everybody wants to have an opportunity to run their own thing. Now, is the grass greener on the other side, like we mentioned earlier in the show? Is it something that can put you in a position to be more successful? Who knows? Only time would tell, and only opportunity would tell if that would be the scenario. But I'm not mad at if this is the feeling that he has, that he wants to go out and run his own basketball team and not be a Scottie Pippen-esque type player to a Donovan Mitchell. He wants to run his own show. Now, what I will say about that is show and prove why you're there. Stand out while you're there. Be the number one guy while you're there. We know Donovan Mitchell is going to be touted as such, but nothing stops Darius Garland from going out and performing at that level. And also, I also want to say, we just said it about Cleveland. They check all of the boxes. They got everything in that locker room to make it happen. If you're the number one guy in a Charlotte or Washington somewhere, you don't necessarily have the set of eyes that you have on you now as a Cleveland Cavalier with the group that you have and with the expectation level you have. So sometimes it can work out in your favor and sometimes it can't. You can get hid somewhere by being the number one option. You can be hid on a really bad team and be the best player on that team. So it doesn't necessarily work out in your favor when that's your sentiment and that's something that you want to do. But until he comes out and says this, I wouldn't give this much stock, but I'm also not upset if this is what he wants to see for himself. I'm not mad at that at all.
Yeah, I think this is completely normal for a guy of his stature and his all-star level performance to naturally want more. Like Luda said, until he says it though, I'm not rolling. And again, he's more capable to do that, but you want to go to Sacramento and win 30 games, or you want to be on a contending team in Cleveland with really good other guys on the team and that continuity and that coach of the year that you just played for last year on a historic run. Now when it gets a little bumpy and up and down season, you want to get traded to a worse situation. I don't love that. And again, this is a knock on him because it's not his words, but like we always say, it always sounds good to act like you could just go somewhere and it's going to be completely different and you're going to have such a bigger role and, more opportunity. And that does sound good when you say it out loud, but that's not always the case. The grass is not always greener. And he's got a really good situation right here and a really good team right now where they can be relevant for the rest of his career in that Eastern Conference. So I think it'd be very short-sighted to go and ask for a trade and want to run your own show for your own personal, needs and passions more so than contending for a championship in Cleveland, which they can do.
I do want my superstars to want to be the guy too. Like, I'm not sure why that's a negative. I
Yeah,
feel like you have to have that inside of you.
No big deal. Yeah, no big deal.
No, I don't hate it. Chandler, KNUEPPEL. Here we go. Okay, so he is second in the NBA in made threes behind Donovan Mitchell. That is one fact. But the bigger fact is that he became the fastest player in NBA history to reach 100 made threes. Did it in 29 games, which is 12 games faster than Lauri Markkanen. Again, sort of nobody was really looking at him because there was so much hype around the other guy. But here we are. Where are you putting him shooter-wise in the league right now?
I think he's going to be in the three-point contest All-Star Weekend. I'll tell you that. And he's got a chance to win. He's got a clip. He gets it off quick. He is tall. He is big, so he can kind of create space. You never see a shot get blocked because he also plays the right way and takes good shots. Now, again, he's got a big role. He's got a lot bigger role than, let's say, he would on a Cleveland. So on a winning team. And this guy, they've been saying now that, he's the franchise guy moving forward, not LaMelo Ball. So he's got that kind of impact so early on in his career. It's super impressive. And I think a lot of that has to do with playing with Cooper Flagg and not being overlooked. The guy was still a top pick in the draft, but kind of being in the shadows of the number one, prodigy coming out of the same team, which was a good thing for him. I think there was little expectation for this dude coming out. I didn't expect him to be averaging 19 points, getting compared to Klay Thompson 30 games into his career. But here we are, and it's a great thing, and it's a great sign for this team that maybe they struck gold with this kid. And also, he's not just a shooter. He can put it on your head. He can put it on the floor. He can defend. He can switch 1 through 4. So, like, yes, he is an elite shot maker and 3-point shooter, but this kid can do it all, and he's here to stay, and he's for real.
Kind of love that. Lou, please tell me you saw Thomas Bryant last night. Please tell me
I
you
did,
saw.
and I got a bunch to say.
Oh God. Okay, here we go. The too small celebration. We all know it. We all love it, but you got to do it.
Hey, them Jordan 10s are some of the softest basketball shoes on earth. Somebody's supposed to tell Thomas Bryant that. Those are some of the softest basketball shoes on earth. Also, Mr. Bryant, there's not a too small celebration when you have to hook the ball over somebody. That is reserved for when you have to go through somebody's chest or you lay the ball up through them, not when you hook it over them. That doesn't qualify you to be too small. That actually means I'm tall enough where you had to go around me and shoot a hook shot to get this off. So,
oh my gosh,
karma's a real thing, Mr. Bryant.
It was
so
quick.
Down on that one, but I got a good laugh out of this. This is all in good fun, but you
It's
can't
so
do the
sweet.
all celebration on a hook shot, bro. That's not how that works.
His reaction is so innocent and like,
Bro,
oops.
It's getting out of control. I've seen someone do it like hitting a jumper, like over something. Like
Come on.
it's the idea of it is to absolutely body someone, go through their chest and like dunk on them, not baby hook over a rookie, like, and then do this. He's never allowed to do it again. I promise you that.
He won't. I don't think he will.
Strip him of his rights from ever doing the too small
Yeah.
celebration again, because this was hilarious and karma at its finest.
Honestly, where's karma for the bad folks? It doesn't ever happen that fast. That was the fastest karmic retribution I've ever seen in my entire life. All right, we teased the Pelicans, and rightfully so. They are on a nice little run here, playing Dallas. No worries, 119, 113, 5 straight for New Orleans. Zion with 24, 9 rebounds off of the bench. Derek Queen with 19, 11, and 6. Anthony Davis had 35 and 17, but it's the 5 in a row for the Pelicans. We had written them off. I'm not blaming us. We were supposed to. That's what they look like. But now you got Z in there. You got Derek Queen, double-double last 3 games, Lou. Again, we were ripping this team apart, shipping people off. Is everything switching around, or is this enough for you to say, all right, let's take a minute and breathe?
Well, yeah, let's take a minute to breathe. I think what they found is the young fella can play, and this is a piece that you can build around. And you found also that Zion might be really, really good on the second group and give you some balance of somebody that's coming off the bench in a 6-man role. That's Zion Williamson, that's playing the minutes that he's playing and doing the things that he's doing. But Derek Queen is a star. I think this young guy is somebody that you can definitely build around. He's definitely a winning piece. Now, what you just said, Beadle, we can take a breath. I don't know if this 5-game win streak is enough for us to say, hold on, let's stay right here in this pocket, because I don't think in a perfect world Zion wants to come off the bench. So that's going to be something that you're going to have to pay attention to. And I also think you're not going to have him come off the bench very long. But what do I know in New Orleans? Right now, this works. If I'm them, I don't shake the tree. I don't rattle the tree. And I continue to stack up wins how we're built and how we're playing right now as it is.
Yeah, this is it's progress. And it's exactly what you want to see as a team, as an organization. Well, now you look like Derek Queen, great stud. Jeremiah Fears, stud. So now all of a sudden you're talking about the New Orleans Pelicans in a different light, because now they have future pieces. They have assets. They have Zion, who they found something with bringing him off the bench, managing his minutes of a guy who's always been in and out of the lineup because of health and because of injuries. Now let's put him off the bench and find ways we can mix up his minutes and have him play at the end of the games and kind of manage his risk more. And now again, they have Herb Jones, who's valuable. You talk about him on the trade deadline or the trade block, how the Lakers are interested in him. That's just another asset. It's another good thing that the New Orleans Pelicans have. And honestly, I watched this game last night. The crowd was into it. Like, the crowd was going nuts in the game. There's good energy back in this organization. And it's a great sign moving forward, and that's all you can ask for with a team with such an atrocious start to the season to now run 5 off and now actually have a goal. Like, guys, do we dare try and make that play in? Do we dare like now you start thinking,
No.
I'm just saying,
We're breathing. We're breathing.
Still
We're breathing.
8-22.
I'm just saying, this type of progress, you think, okay, let's just day by day keep going, but now at least there's goals. There's
I see
a
it
big
different. I see it different, Chandler. I don't think they get into a play-in. I don't think they get into the playoffs. I think what you're seeing now is a team that is evaluating talent. I think we're in the mode of let's evaluate everybody. Let's evaluate every scenario. Let's evaluate every situation, from Queen being the man to Zion being off the bench. Who's going to be my role players? Who's going to get their hands dirty? Let's pay attention from top to bottom what this roster is, and let's see who's valuable enough to build around moving forward. I think this season is a wash. I don't think they put themselves into a competitive position to be in a play-in, let alone a playoff with the record they have. They run off 5 in a row, and your record is 8-22. Still with five in a row, you're still not in a great scenario.
That hurts.
Yeah, you're still not in a great position. But again, when you have some positives that can come out of this, you put yourself in a position to let me evaluate who's in my locker room and who's worthy enough to keep. So no, I play in is crazy talk.
Yeah, I just think this team, like, what's crazy, this team has a better potential and better setup than like the Clippers for future. At least they have something to look forward to. They have assets. They have these young guys that can, like, Fears can be an all-star eventually. Yeah. Queen can be an all-star. Like, teams like the Clippers, they have no bright side. They have no light at the end of the tunnel. So at least you start seeing, you know, the progress and the hard work and the practice and the turn into wins and translate to wins. That's a huge sign for a struggling franchise. And again, now maybe they go and shop a Jordan Poole. Maybe they go and shop a Zion. Like, maybe Zion now has showed enough to making his trade value a little better, and you can add to these young core pieces. I'm just saying it's all positive momentum for a team that's just been cheeks the last couple of years.
Can we make that argument when they are literally in the same position as the Clippers, right? Like, so
only because of the youth.
The youth and the assets
is optimistic. Yeah,
there's no fears on
that's why I say and that's why I say you evaluate. You see who you're going to keep. You like Fears. You like Queen. You see what you're going to do with Alvarado moving forward. You see what you're going to do.
Is 25 years old. We haven't even mentioned him.
Right. You see what you're going to do with guys like that are on the fringe, that are kind of in an in-between in their careers. Who are they going to be? And if they're going to be that for the New Orleans Pelicans, I think this gives you an opportunity to evaluate talent from top to bottom.
Can I also
know what's crazy? Go ahead.
You know Zion is 25.
I know.
Right.
He's 25 years old.
Yeah. But in NBA years,
he's like 100.
You know, so there's the difference in that. He's a super young guy, but in NBA years, are we going to continue to do this in New Orleans where we're going to get something out of this and maybe not? Or do we give him a fresh start? Because again, he's coming off the bench, but Zion ain't trying to come off the bench. This is a guy that we touted as being a star, a superstar, all-star, whatever you want to put on his name. He still feels like that window is open. He got things to accomplish. So I don't know how long this come off the bench thing lasts. Like it's worked so far, but for him personally and his team, they're probably going to look for other options, and that's probably okay with the New Orleans Pelicans.
I know. I just all I can keep hearing is Carmelo Anthony when he was asked about coming off the bench. He's like, "I'm Carmelo Anthony. I don't come off the bench," and that's what I hear here. But that being said, like if you showed this game right to somebody who's never watched basketball before and they don't know who Zion Williamson is and who he's supposed to be, they would be like, "Oh, this seems to work. This is a good idea." Is there a world? Just humor me. Where he maybe could see this as a positive, and you don't want to mess with a good thing. You're 5 straight, right? Like, there's no world in which he'd be like, okay, I could do this.
No way. He's 25 years old. When he plays 30 minutes, he is putting up 28 and 10 and 6, and it's all about health with this guy. And again, they found something here, a small sample size, and Sadiq Bey has been starting in front of him, and he's been good too. The guy's averaging 15 points a game. We haven't even mentioned him talking about the Pelicans for the last 10 minutes. But I will say this: if I'm watching this game last night and I didn't even see who was starting or who was playing, I would know that that guy's different. I would know that Zion Williamson is one of the best players. I would know his build and his athleticism, the way he still gets to the rim. He still did some special things last night on the floor that's not really human, and that when he's on it, like when he's healthy, he's a top 15 player in the NBA. Like again, it's a big if.
Not a bench player. That's a fact.
And a bench player. Like we should be talking about him. I'm about to bring up Team USA again. We should be talking about him about like a Team USA type player, not the six man on an 8-win team. Like, come on, stop. He's too good.
Can we get like a buzzer if he mentions Team USA? This is for everybody back in LA in the control room. Can we get a buzzer that when he does that, the mic goes dead?
Zion, we're talking Zion as a 6th man, not like an all-star, all-NBA, or like an Olympian. I can't.
For now, while it's working, and then when it stops working, you change it up again. I just don't think you mess with a good thing. Well, fine. We got to take a quick break. On the other side, Giannis called himself the hottest chick in the game. Yes! We'll talk about that on the other side.
Running back, run it up, running back.
You say what for you today. First up, Giannis said he is the hottest chick in the game right now because it's the most he's ever been talked about in his entire career. So I already know where this is going to go, but Chandler, how do you feel about it? I like it. He is a hot chick.
Weird terminology.
I think it's adorable.
He is getting talked about more, which kind of makes me think he likes it. Like he kind of likes being the talk of the town. He kind of likes being in the headlines. He kind of is intrigued by everything that's going on. But listen,
nice to be wanted.
But also, you don't know you're wanted. You're one of the best players in the NBA. You're one of the best players ever. Like you've always been that guy. So it's just he's always says some funny stuff. So I don't take this seriously.
It's very European. It's a very free European thought. That's what I'm going to say.
And also, he likes to have fun. My kids are just.
I knew Lou was going to hate it. I knew what, Lou? What?
Yeah, what do you got, Lou?
One thing I do agree with Chandler on is I do think he likes the attention. I do. I think he likes the attention. And listen, I'm cool with it. Once you win a championship and you become one of the best players in the game, I really don't care after that. I think you are afforded some liberties that other guys just aren't. And I think Giannis is one of those people. I think he deserves to be talked about. And I think he deserves to like the attention and like Beadle just said, to feel wanted. He's definitely one of the most touted players in the game. And I think all other 29 teams would give themselves an opportunity to get Giannis if they could. I just would never call myself the hottest chick in the game if I'm not a chick. Now, I wouldn't do that. But I do think he likes the attention and he likes the feeling of being wanted as well. But hottest chick in the game, you need to cut it.
It's kind of funny.
I'd probably say something like this, Lou.
You 100%.
And that's the problem, Chandler. And that's where the problem is.
That's how we know it's not right. I love it. By the way, we didn't kill him for all the other stuff that went down last week with the agent. We're not going to today either because the hottest chick thing sort of took over. We do have another one. I don't know where this came from, but Byron Scott called out Kevin Durant for being a ring chaser and saying, quote, when you're one of the best players in this league, you don't start chasing rings. I just checked my calendar. Like, why is this coming up, Chandler?
A lot of our best players chase rings, though. But go ahead, Chandler.
What is this?
Yeah, it just seems like this is a stray from years ago. Like, I don't know why this is even talked about. I've said my piece on this. I don't think it impacts anything of his legacy or what he did when he went and chased that ring in Golden State because he was the best player on that team. So again, optics wise, I think a lot of guys back in the day, they might consider this soft or they might consider this, a negative thing. But again, a lot of players do this. A lot of players will continue to do this. And I just think the timing of this was a little strange. I like B. Scott too, but this was just a zinger out of nowhere that's already been discussed and talked about multiple times. So I don't even really want to get into it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. What are you doing, B. Scott? What are you doing? Okay, Lou. 2 smalls up. Jaylen Brown said that Steph Curry isn't beating him one-on-one because he's too small. You good with that?
I like this matchup. I actually like this matchup. Yeah. Listen, physicality versus a sharpshooter. I like it. And they both tough and they both got unique ways to score the basketball. I kind of like this matchup. It's a little awkward matchup. It's a little different weight classes, but I like it. Now, I can make a case for Jaylen Brown beating Steph Curry. I also can make a case for Steph Curry beating Jaylen Brown. So I would like to see it. I'm not swayed one way or another. I like both of these guys' competitive pedigrees and who they are. Now, I'm not going to close the door and just say Jaylen Brown is going to go out and do what he wants to Steph Curry when they play one-on-one, because I feel like Steph Curry has some advantages as well. So that's a real say what. I don't know about that, but I like both of these guys.
Yeah, I don't think it's a crazy statement. I really don't. First of all, what are the rules? What are the dribble limits? Like I need more details here. With the size of Jaylen Brown, one or two dribbles one-on-one, he could give Steph Curry some trouble. That's used to coming off screens and constant movement and pin downs. And also he can shoot over him on the other end. So again, it's not the craziest thing I've ever heard. And this is why I think implementing a one-on-one
there it is
in All-Star weekend. Don't you want to Kyrie Irving play Wemby? It would be hilarious, and it would be really competitive. It would be the advantages on both sides. Who knows? Again, we'd have to hash out the details and really just the dribble limit. But this isn't nuts, and I don't know who I'd pick to win this one-on-one battle. I really wouldn't.
That's what I feel like this was a good one, because I'm like, you know what, Jaylen Brown, we would like to see that. We're all clamoring for that to be an all-star event.
He's probably too big for Steph to guard one-on-one.
Guess what? And if there's one guy that would advocate for a one-on-one tournament during All-Star weekend, it would be Jaylen Brown. You've seen him.
We love himself
in the big three. He's done everything at All-Star weekend that you can possibly do.
Slam
down to the dunk contest that didn't go his way, but he did it. He did it, and he put everything on the line. And he showed us in a case study, we don't really care. These guys worried about their legacies, about doing all of this stuff. Just go have some fun. We still like some fun. So, Jaylen, call him out publicly, one-on-one. Let's make it happen.
Maybe the star players won't do the dunk contest or won't do the other events, but they might do one-on-one.
Maybe they'll do one-on-one. I'm here for it. Jaylen Brown forever holds a place in my heart because he did the dunk contest. That was awesome. We will take a quick break. We'll take a look at. There are a lot of games tonight. We'll pick the good one when we come back.
Run it up, run it back.
I believe there are 14 games on the docket tonight, and one of them is OKC out here in San Antonio. A little rematch from the Cup, you guys. First time since Spurs knocked them off. They play tonight. They also play on Christmas Day, Lou. I'm wondering, start guessing, does OKC get their first bit of revenge tonight?
I'm tuned into this one. For what it's worth, OKC is on a little slide, right? They're on a little baby slide, a little playground slide, if you will, losing a couple of games this week. But I look for them to get back on track tonight against the Spurs. But this is definitely a matchup that I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch for the holidays for sure.
Yes.
OKC Beads, I'm sorry, to the moon tonight. I think they get redemption tonight. I think
on the road to the moon.
What kind of garbage is that?
Bloodbath. I think that OKC by 15 plus.
You know what? Yeah. Merry Christmas to everyone but Chandler.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
We'll see you guys.